I am Jeremy Brieske from Lowboy Custom Beaters, and I'm here today with Brian Frasier-Moore. Brian, hey man, thanks for taking the time.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Jeremy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to talk about how to get and keep your first pop drumming gig. And, Brian is the perfect person to talk to because he's played with some of the biggest artists on earth. I'm talking about Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson, Usher, Madonna, Pink. He also runs BFM World, where he mentors musicians who want to kickstart and further their careers. And Brian, before we get to your advice for young drummers, I want to hear a little bit about your drumming journey leading up to your first big tour. And I know you grew up playing from a really young age in the Pentecostal church, and many of today's biggest pop and R&B drummers have come out of that tradition or a similar church tradition. So, what did you learn during those early years playing in church? Whether you realized it or not, that prepared you for your drumming career.
Absolutely. I think that last part you put in there, whether I realized it or not,
Yeah.
was the key point. Timing, consistency, emotion, um, audibles, being able to follow churches, forever moving, the verse, chorus. So all of these fundamental skills that I didn't know I was learning actually trained me for later on. There, there was a guy, rest in peace, Al Ingram. He was the organist, and he used to always beat his hand on the side of the organ. And now that I think about it, that was my first click track. I was always follow. So fundamentals like that helped me later in my career.
Yeah. So uh, I grew up in a very different religious tradition, which is the Catholic Church. And so
Okay.
we got a few Catholic bangers. Like there's a couple of tunes in there that, like when I hear them, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good song. But for the most part, I feel like the music you were playing is a lot more exciting, a lot more upbeat, and just totally different. Where like, we had a very set songbook that we would play from, and the choir's singing and the
Mm,
organist is playing, but like there's not improv, there's not like lead vocalists in a lot of ways. So explain to me how your church experience was different as far as how like the music is set up.
absolutely. I mean, all of those are key points. What you said. Lead vocalists, a couple of lead vocalists, sometimes two and three lead vocalists, full choir, a full band. Keys, guitar, sax, percussion. We had everyone that played something in the church in this community vibe. So that was really like the base of it. It was all hands on deck. We were forever trying to push the limits musically, um, dynamically with the choir. Soft sections as the spirit would. We wanted to usher the spirit in a lot during those services. So just the intricacies of emotion. Of course, I was a young drummer. Of course, the band, you got fast songs, but also slow songs, also ballads and worship. Those type of things. So it was really sometimes unpredictable, shall we say?
Yeah, but it's all about learning to listen, right? I mean, that's kind of the big
Abs-
thing.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's take a step back and talk about some different skill sets. And like where a drummer needs to be before he or she can take that next step in their career. And so I've got some intangibles that I want to talk about later, but let's start off, like, let's talk about chops. For the drummers who you work with, like, how do you know in terms of skill, just like drumming skill level, that someone is ready to make serious moves in their career?
I mean, that's a good question. As far as chops are concerned, I would say just the placement, of course, how clean they are with executing the chops. If I'm only talking about chops in this answer,
Or just
but
playing? I mean, playing in general. I mean, I'm
okay,
using that in kind of a
playing
generic. Yeah.
playing in general. So now this is something that's different. I tend to think of it like the basketball league, right? Okay. So you got high school basketball, you have college basketball, you have the G League, you have the B Summer Leagues, you have the professional leagues. So I want people to understand that in my experience, that those gigs transition according to the titles out. So I've had gigs where chops were important. The artist wanted flair. Usher wanted flair. He loves for a drummer to, as you can see, the course of drummers that he's had throughout his um throughout his career. He loves a drummer that's going to give me this, give me that, right? And so that's necessary. It's needed. You have to be musical with those chops. You have to know when to execute them. You have to know all of those things. But then sometimes you might get an artist like maybe Madonna, and so then we're moving up to a different category or different league where the chops is really not doesn't impress her as much as someone being able to emulate the essence of her record. Like,
Mm.
this is the spirit that we had when we were in the studio making Vogue, and this was the vibe. Can you emulate that? So then that's a whole nother characteristic. And then you have some artists that are like electronic heavy. You know, Victor Duplay was an artist that I would play with. So it really depends when you ask the question, do they have what it takes? I want everyone to know that there's a lot of different categories, and so there's a lot of different things that you could have to get a lot of different gigs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, I mean, if you're working with a drummer who's 18 years old, and I guess going back to like saying, okay, this kid's got the chops, like, he or she can play. How would you teach them those other things though, right? Like saying, all right, you might get a gig where you need to emulate Omar Hakim or like someone who played on a record. Like how do you actually learn those skills?
Okay, so this is the exact reason through my consultations why I made up the video analysis program. The video analysis program is based off of this. So what happens is I have them record a live song, right? They record a live song, they play it down. We get back on Zoom together and we go section by section. Now, going section by section, this guy might have the chops. He has all the chops in the world. That's amazing. That's great. But in this section right here, what is the music doing? Oh, let me listen. Let me take a listen. The music is doing that. Okay, so what is your best presentation in this section? Is it the chops? What's happening in the groove? What is the arrangement doing? What are the other band members playing? Like, we really break it down to broaden their aspect other than just chops, because there's a lot of different aspects to playing a song other than chops. So that's one of the main ways. I don't like to take away their excitement for chops. I'm not trying to say don't play chops. I'm just trying to say, are you executing it in the best way, in the best places possible?
Yeah. And then I mean, if someone doesn't have a mentor like you, is there a way that they can sort of self-analyze their playing?
You know,
It's
you
tough,
have
right?
to think. It's tough. When I think that when I was younger, I wasn't really trying to hear anybody. I wasn't trying to hear anybody tell me to analyze anything. I wasn't trying to analyze it myself. I just wanted to play. And when I got good at something, I felt excited about it. I felt like, oh, this is great. I've been working at this. So it's kind of hard to say that it's an individual thing. You know, some people might say, okay, I got the chops, but I see Teddy Campbell playing on a award show and wow, that looks interesting. Or I see Omar Hakim play this song, or I see Steve Gadd play this song. It depends on the individual and their influences.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, I want to throw kind of a big bucket at you that I will call technology. And to me, I guess that means, playing to a click, playing to tracks, using triggers, probably some other things that I'm not even aware exists. What type of technology should a drummer be familiar with?
Click track 100%. I'll start there. If you're looking to get into this business and do anything remotely close as far as recording in the studio, playing live shows, commercials, film scores, or anything like that, you're going to run across this thing called a click track at some point. So I would suggest that you start to get comfortable with that. Some people you throw a click track on, they get tense. Some people you throw a click track on, they can hear themselves going behind the beat and they get paranoid. So the beat ends up going like so just getting comfortable with the click track. Um in today's time also, uh drum triggers are definitely I've been using triggers for the last 20 something years, right?
Yeah.
It's a part of my thing. It's a part of my sound because I've learned that artists go in the studio, they make these songs, they create them, and then the drummer comes and plays them, and the essence of the sounds sound nothing like what they've been working in the studio. So once again, if you want to be those kind of calls, you have to kind of step into those positions to be the complete drummer. Like I got chops, but I also have technology, but I also have authenticity to the groove. I also have this.
Yeah. So I mean, so getting familiar with the click, I mean, that to me sounds as easy as downloading a metronome app on your phone and just playing along to it, right?
Y-
Or not?
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
When you put a person on the stage, right, or put them in rehearsal, and they put a click on, and they're getting excited. Now you're fighting a mental, emotional thing
Hmm.
playing with the click. So yes, at home, yes, it's just you. You're just practicing, but then you get to rehearsal. You see, hey, those are musicians that I respect. Oh, I'm excited. Then you get on the stage that, whoa, there's 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people here. You still have to have that control with that click track.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But to you, I mean, I assume that you get to the point where it's almost a security blanket, right? Where like, do you like having a click there, or would you prefer? I mean, in your world of worlds, like click or no click?
I would say click, right?
Uh-huh.
Because the way that I play to a click, I'm not necessarily playing to a click. The click just lets me know where perfect timing is. Sometimes we get shows where the drums might not be lined up exactly to the click. Sometimes the vocals might not be exactly on the click. So the click just lets me know, hey, that's where perfect time lives. Okay. But I still want to move and breathe with the band. Everybody might not be playing exactly on the click. You might have 70% of the band that plays behind the click, you know? So I don't mind a click track. It just lets me know, okay, that's where perfect time is. So don't pull back too much or don't rush too much.
Yeah. Well, and then as far as triggers though, um, that's not quite as simple as just downloading an app to get started. I mean, you got to pay some money to buy the gear. Where would you suggest someone starts if they're like, all right, I just want to like figure out how this whole thing works?
That's a good question. I would say the SPDX, the regular SPDX, just general, not the Pro, not the SX or anything like
Which
that.
is
But
Roland, right?
yes, this is
Roland
rolling.
product. Yeah.
Yes. Um, So it just gives you an idea. So it gives you an idea to be able to play some electronic sounds. Cool. And they have two trigger inputs. So if you want to even get more fancy, you can run a trigger input to your kick drum, the trigger input to your snare, right? Now, the crazy part about this that has been for me when I first started playing triggers is sometimes I'm a guy that likes to do ghost notes. You know, I like ghost notes. Playing with triggers it gets a little tricky because you don't want that sound triggering every single time. So you either have to cut down the amount of the ghost notes or turn the sensitivity of the trigger up. So these are just things I'm throwing out there to get familiar with. People can start with that if they want external pad to play sounds. It's a good machine. If you want a trigger, snare and kick, that's a good machine. But these are the things to think about.
All right, cool. And then I think maybe the final technology question is, I mean, do you think it's a good skill for people to learn how to program beats? I mean, it's a completely different skill set, but obviously related to being a drummer. Is that something that you think helps people just, I don't know, just have a better sense of the musicality of things?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Because you can find that, okay, we'll take for an example, the busiest drummer in the world, when they program a beat, will not program a beat like they play live. So it teaches you the other side of beats, right? Okay, when I play, I'm When I'm programming, it's like, oh, okay. So then you can transform some of that beat programming to your live plan. I feel like they go hand in hand. So yes, I would say that that's a great thing for you.
All right, cool. I have learned throughout my life that one thing that's very valuable is collecting friends. And, you can lean on them in your personal life, and you'll find that, like, once in a while, a friend can help you in your professional life as well. From a professional standpoint, I mean, they call that networking or building your network.
Mhm.
How do you suggest that drummers build their network so that when an opportunity pops up, they're getting a call?
This is a great question. Okay. We have to remember we're a community. We're all in this together, 100%. You're trying to get somewhere, I'm trying to get somewhere. Our community, our network, we work together. We frequent with each other. We speak to each other. We develop relationships. We learn from each other. That kind of um, personality lends itself to, oh, hey, I can't do this gig, or hey, I know someone else. This is my good friend, because we're all humans. Still, you can't be a jerk to me and expect me to refer you for something. But also your skill level, we're learning together. You know where that person is. So I would say the biggest thing is to really build a community network uh, with your fellow drummers, with your fellow musicians, constantly showing them your growth, constantly showing them things that you're working on, letting them hear so they have knowledge and belief that they can put you on something.
But how do you find those people? I mean, is it local musicians or online? I mean, where do you think you would go and be like, I need to meet some drummer. I need to meet some musicians. Like, where do you go to do that?
Absolutely. But today's time, I grew up in a time, we both grew up in a time that the social media and the internet was not around. So I
Yeah.
kind of consider it easy in today's time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just
Right.
pay attention. Back in the day, we didn't have it that easy, but in today's time, you just pay attention. Okay, with Teddy's playing at such and such. Oh, I'm going to go there because he's playing with such a Earl Clooney. Blah, blah. Okay, I'm Little John. Little, if I'm in Atlanta, oh, Little John is playing. Let me go expand my network. Let me see. You can almost see where everyone's going to be. So you go to these places, you network. You know, I have a networking tool that I use. I record a few performances. I put it on the memory stick. I take it in my pocket every time I go somewhere. So that if I'm networking with someone, hey, I don't have to talk them to death when I'm out. You still being a human,
Yeah.
understanding and respect people's time. Hey, man, nice to meet you. I love this, blah, 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 blah. Yo, here's my memory stick. It got my information on it, man. Check it out when you get home. Let me know. My email's on it. Let me know what you think. They're gonna check it out whether they think they have the funniest thing they can make fun of with their friends, or whether they found the best thing. We just live in that type of environment. So really finding a slick way to network, still being a human, but promoting the product at the same time.
Hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting strategy. I like that. Um, and I kind of on that same subject of interpersonal relationships. I feel like when you're young and you're hungry, I mean, whether you're a musician or, like anything else professionally or even personally in life, uh, you kind of have to show some confidence, to kind of like keep stepping up. But then there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. Like you want to show that you're sure of yourself and your skills, but you don't want to come off as someone who isn't willing to bend to what's best for the team. How do you coach people to sort of like be sure of themselves and to exude confidence, but like rein it in when you have to?
Absolutely. I mean, this is an ego thing. You know what I mean? This is purely driven ego. If I'm trying to get somewhere, this is just the younger me talking, right? The younger Brian. If I'm trying to get somewhere and I see Jeremy and I know that Jeremy, he's connected to people, but I know I'm good, but I know that that's Jeremy connected to other people. I'm going to go up to Jeremy and I'm going to be confident about who I am, but I'm also going to be humbled enough to listen to what Jeremy has to say and to glean from it and to learn from it. It's a give and take. It's not always just give, give, give. Here's where I am. It's a give and take. It's a networking. It's a camaraderie. It's a music industry. Welcome to the music industry. It's built off of this, whether you're musicians, whether you're doing endorsement deals, whether you're doing biz partnerships, whether, it doesn't matter. You have to have this give and take, confident about myself, humble to listen to someone else type of attitude. If you don't do that, you might find a harder time getting to where you want to get to.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, you just mentioned endorsement deals, so I want to talk about gear just for a second. Um, when you're ready to go out on like that first tour, what is the gear situation like? Do you have to have decent quality drums? Do you need to have world class drums, like a $6,000 kit, or does it not matter since everything's going to be backlined?
In my situation, so okay, when I go on a tour, I provide everything,
Okay.
right? I provide all the gear because I like to do drum designs. That's my thing. I love to present a design for the specific tour. So I want what's best for that project. If you notice, the Justin Timberlake kit was different from the Pink kit. I'm really into who the artist is, what the music sounds like. Even for Eros Ramazzotti right now, the kit is different than my other kit. So I'm really putting a kit together. So I like the drums I like. I like the gear I like. I like the low beater bass drum beaters that I like. I like what I like. That never changes. That's just is what it is. That's a consistent thing for my sound. So I never really look at it me personally like, oh, I need to have the $9,000 kit. No, there's kits more expensive than the urban recipes. You know, there's kits more expensive than the drums that I use. But this is what I use. It gives me the sound I like. I know I can tune them. I know I can use them. So that's kind of where my head is. I use what I know is going to get the job.
Yeah. Well, I guess though, for someone not at your level of a career, like maybe you're, going to be like first of three on a bill or something. What about in that case? I mean, someone who is probably struggling financially, right? Just as they're building up to there, like at that point, what do they need?
Oh, okay. So this all depends. If you have the relationship, you know how this endorsement game goes,
I
right?
do.
They
Yeah.
want people that have names, that have resume. They want it's a business, so we want the people that have some type of resume so that we can promote it, we can get more product to sell it into people's hands. So if you're just starting out, you're kind of in between that rock and hard place because you're starting out to build your resume, but you're really good and you got this opening at bill, or maybe you're on the bill with two or three different people, I would suggest backlining.
Okay.
Backlining, right? And taking photos, doing videos with the gear. Backlining so that when you finish this tour, you can go back to these companies and say, hey, I just finished using your product, man. We were out for like 3 months, 2 months, a month, whatever. I really like your product. Maybe in the future we can talk. But you can see for sometimes the worst thing you could do is go to a company and say, "Hey, I want to get endorsed," and they say, "Okay, have you used our product?" And you're like, "No." What are we doing, right? So
I, I get a lot of emails like that.
I'm sure you do, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so I think that if you're not able to get endorsed right off the rip, which is understandable, then backline it, but backline for the gear that you're looking to get endorsed by so that you have some type of leverage to go to the company and say, hey, I've been using your product. I've noticed this. I love this. I love it.
And so in your experience, a drummer of that level can spec it out. They can say, I want a Pearl kit, I want Sabian cymbals, I want DW hardware. Like you can get granular like that.
Absolutely. That most of the time with those tours, all they're going to do is ask you if you have a rider. So drummers, it's important to put together your rider. Go through a list and put together. I want 10 by 8 time. I want to, really spec everything out. I want 6 boom cymbal arms. I want this, and this, just so you can have a rider, because that's how they're going to be able to backline your gear to give it to center stage and or whoever is going to facilitate it.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's good to know. I've never been on a major tour, but I imagine the first time out, it really tests your mental game. I'm talking about loneliness. You're going to be away from your friends and family. Your daily routine is shot. Exercise is tough. There may be pressure to party every night, with beautiful and interesting people. How do you think a drummer should prepare themselves so that once they get on that tour, they're able to keep their head on straight?
That's a tough thing. It's almost one of those things you have to experience it and then build. Because this is the dream. This is what everyone dreams. I want to go on the road. I want to tour. I want to be in the spotlight with the artists. I want to go to the parties. I want to. You have to let people experience that. It's something to experience. But being able to control it and know when to say no and when to say, I'm not going to go to that party. I'm actually going to stay in a room and call my wife or my girlfriend and make sure everything is straight. That only comes with time. That only comes with wisdom of saying, oh my God, the last time I did it, I got so drunk that I couldn't even, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I feel like if you're approaching it for the first time, enjoy. Enjoy it as much as you can. But all I can say is just be careful. Just be careful that you are still at work when you're at the parties. You're still at work on your off days and you're running around the city. You're still at work and you still have a reputation to uphold. So just be careful, enjoy, but you'll figure out what to do through trials and tribulations.
Yeah, and then what about routine? Yeah, I mean, let's say you've got that part figured out, right? Like you're like, okay, man, I'm taking this seriously. I'll
Yeah,
have a, I'll have a beer after we're done, but like, I got to be cool about it. A lot of people in their lives need routine, right? Like I need routine. Um, it, have you found that after you've kind of been on the road a while, like you're able to sort of have a different routine that keeps you on the straight and narrow? Like, you get up, whether you're on a bus or in a hotel, and you can kind of like do sort of the same things every day and feel normal. Does that work?
absolutely. Absolutely. This is my world. You know, it all depends, of course. If you're leaving after the show and you have to drive through the night, right? Okay. I want to get up in the morning. I want to call my wife. Hey, good morning. Well, how are you? I love you, all that good stuff. And then I want to hit the gym. I want to hit the gym. I want to work out, clear my head, reset. I want to go have breakfast. After I go have breakfast, I want to come back to the room for some stretching, some meditation, maybe a few phone calls. There comes a routine that you figure out, even for show days versus off days. For off days, I want to do that same thing, but I'm going to hit the city wherever I am. I'm going to get out into the streets, enjoy the culture, looking around. Oh, look at that. I'm in Rome today. Oh, there's the fountain. I want to feel the culture. I come back. So, yes, there is definitely room for routine. But sometimes people have good routines, and sometimes people have bad routines. But there
Yeah.
are routines, room
Easier
for it.
said than done, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, man. This is my last question, and thank you again for your time today. And it's a
Of course.
little bit of a diversion, but I think you're going to have an interesting answer to this. And you mentioned earlier that you and I are, like roughly the same age. And when we were growing up, the point of playing music was playing with other musicians and performing in front of people. And today, there are many musicians who have decided that they would rather play for an Instagram or a TikTok audience, but sometimes they say, you know what? I found success here and I want to parlay that into a career, tour and recording career. what has your experience been with social media drummers who want to cross over into, like, say, a touring career?
This is this is really big right here. This is big because no matter how good you are at social media drumming, which I have nothing against. I see a lot of drummers on social media. I'm like, oh my God, that's incredible. But no matter how good you are moving into a different grade. Okay, I'm a registered nurse. Okay, I'm a registered nurse. This is what I do. But I want to move over into surgery. Now I want to do surgery on people. No, just because I'm good at a registered nurse doesn't mean that I know how to go and have surgery on people. So they are two different things. That's what I want to stress. They are two different things. That's just like a professional drummer that's been a professional drummer for years uh, when there was no social media saying, "Oh, there's social media now. Okay, since I've been on the road all of these years, I can just do." No,
Yeah.
no, no. It's two different things. So there have been success stories. Grayson, J. Rod Sullivan, people that we've seen
Yeah.
um, transition, but I'm sure they've had the same realizations as well. Like, oh, whoa, this is a little different. Playing for an artist, playing the expectation, drum triggers, different styles, people, band members. It's just a different thing. So, to that point, um, even myself, I've found that touring all of these years and then building my own home studio, building content and all of that, it's been Jeremy, it's been such a transition. It's like a whole change
Yeah.
of what we know. So yes, to your point, I think that there is different challenges doing either one. Whether you're pro trying to do social, whether you're social trying to do pro, we just have to recognize them as two different two different areas with two different methods.
So then, I mean, I think what you're saying is that you need to go back to the basics, like all the things that we covered today, and make sure that you've got all those figured out. And then maybe you can move on to that next step. Is that fair?
100%. High school basketball, college basketball. It's this same method. I think there's this illusion that since you're good, that it applies on all levels. But unfortunately, we have to get good on all levels. That applies to me. That applies when I started doing clinics. That applied to me. Like I didn't do clinics before I was on the road. So here we go. I got to learn what the audience wants to hear. What do I play? Okay, this song was trash. That's not moving now. What do that? It's just different. We all have to learn what those categories are and how they work.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, that, I think, brings us full circle on this conversation. Is there anything that you think I left out? Like any words of wisdom that you feel like young drummers need to know if they want to have a career in pop R&B drumming?
I think that it's just the biggest thing. We have some of the most talented drummers, musicians popping up off of these social media. You cannot deny it. You cannot. They are incredible at what they're doing, and I watch them all, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's insane, right? I
Yeah,
love that, but I want them to all know that you're amazing at what you do. But if you ever need help to get to those levels that you want to get to, that we're here. My company is here. I got a group of friends that are professionals that are here. We're here to help. We're not competition. We're not trying to throw a shadow on you. We're here. We're a community. Let's move together as a community. So that's my biggest thing for our drum community.
yeah. And if someone wants your help and they want to reach out, where do they go?
So you can reach out BFM at bfmworld.com. You can reach out to me. You can go to bfmworld.com and see the services and see everything that we offer. We have some really great things that we're working on. We've taken musicians and put them on professional gigs. We're not just teaching, oh, play your rudiments in the basement. That's not what it's designed. We're taking people I have so many people that are now have careers for like the last 7, 8 years straight out of Musicians Institute, working with the biggest artists. We give them the real time of what's happening now so that they can pay it forward, get some work, take care of their families, make some money, buy some houses. This is what we do over
All right, good stuff, man. Well, Brian Frasier-Moore,
here.
again, man, thank you for taking the time out today. It's really good to see you and good to connect.
You
And
too.
I really appreciate the advice that you're giving to the drummers out there. I mean, I'm taking a lot out of it, and I know that there's going to be thousands of people out there who this is going
My
to help.
pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for having me, Jeremy.
You got it, man. Thanks.